Hello, everyone out there in Rumble, X, and YouTube land. Welcome back to Diego Knows. I, of course, am Diego. And we're going to talk some more about the new movie that came out this weekend, Wicked for Good. Wicked for Good. Yes, the sequel to last year's Wicked, starring Cynthia Butt Ugly Erivo and Ariana, I Need a Cheeseburger Grande. Yes, these women. Okay, and there's also Jeff Goldblum is in there, and Michelle Yeoh, and some other people you don't care about. Okay, a bunch of gay guys, things like that. Okay, but yeah, so Wicked 2, you could call it. Okay, based on the book, which, yes, I listened to this entire thing like 20-something years ago. That's why it's a DVD. They don't make these anymore. Okay, because it's all like audiobooks now. It's all, but yeah, I listened to this thing. I bought this thing and listened to it like 20 years ago, back when the show had just come out, the Broadway show, and it was a big hit, so everybody wanted to read the book. I got swept up in it. My friends told me about this, so I didn't go see the Broadway show. I still have never seen the Broadway show, although I did watch it on YouTube last year, I think. But I did listen to this entire thing. Okay, and for the most part, it was pretty good. It was pretty good, but he left out a lot of stuff. Okay, this is a gay man's fantasy. Okay, his name is Gregory Maguire. Okay, he wrote some sequels. He wrote a book about the Cowardly Lion. He wrote a book about her son, Lear, who's not in the movie at all. Okay, so he wrote some sequels, but none of them have Alphabet in it. Okay, so this was the only book that had her in it. And yes, she does die at the end. She did not fake her death. She does die at the end. Okay, so but that's the book. Okay, and I did enjoy the book. I liked a lot of how they twisted things up. The book took liberties with the 1939 classic, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Deleted some stuff, made some stuff not make sense. So this isn't entirely in continuity with the movie Wizard of Oz. Okay, which is the draw of this whole thing. It's because everybody and their grandma has seen The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, the 1939 version. They've seen it on TV. Okay, in my case, I've actually gone to the theater to watch the re-releases. I took my son and stuff, so he got to see it in a big screen the way the people in 1939 did. That kind of stuff, all right? But everyone's seen The Wizard of Oz. It's a classic, and they always played it around Thanksgiving. Okay, when I was a kid, they always showed it on TV. That and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So these are old movies that we just watched them over and over again because they played it, kind of like It's a Wonderful Life. They play that every single Christmas, that movie. Okay, that's from 1945. Okay, so or it might be 1941. Anyway, the point is that there's certain movies that they played over and over again before DVDs, before streaming, before cable. Okay, just on regular TV. Every year they would play these classic movies. Okay, and The Wonderful Wizard of Oz was one of them. So everybody grew up watching it. Okay, it was a great story. It's timeless. Okay. Everyone nailed it. It was a hell of a movie to make. I mean, the people, the actors, the producers, the directors, they all suffered a lot. Okay. Some of them almost died. One person actually did die. One of the crew members died. A lot of the other people got injured really badly. Okay, Buddy Epson, the original Tin Man, he almost went blind. Sorry, he almost died because he breathed in the metallic powder. They put a metallic powder on his skin to make his skin look metallic, and he breathed it in. Okay, because nobody knew the safetiness of this thing, and he almost died. Okay, Buddy Epson, yes, he was. I talked about him when I reviewed Breakfast at Tiffany's. Okay, he was Holly Golightly's husband, the one from Jerkwater, Iowa, where the hell they're from, or Nebraska, wherever the hell she was from. Okay, and yes, he was on the Beverly Hillbillies. Okay, he was the main character on the Beverly Hillbillies. He was Jeb Clampett on the Beverly Hillbillies. Okay, that's Buddy Epson. Okay, and he's also Barnaby Jones for those of you who really know your Buddy Epson. All right, but yes, he was the original Tin Man, and because he got injured, almost died, they had to hire Jack Haley, okay, or Alan Haley, whatever the hell his name is. Okay, and they decided to use a paste. Instead of a powder, they used a paste, which almost made him go blind. Okay, but yes, at least he stuck it out throughout the whole. He almost lost his vision because some of that stuff got in his eyes. Okay, but he did stick out the entire production of the Wonderful Wizard of Oz. And in fact, his son, decades later, his son married Judy Garland's daughter. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, he's married one of Liza Minnelli's many ex-husbands. All right, yes. That really did happen. Okay, so we've all seen The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Okay, and the book and the movie are trying to draw off of that. They're trying to add add to that story. Okay, unfortunately, when you add something, you're not supposed to take things away from the original. You got to respect the source material. Okay, but that's not what Gregory Maguire did, and that's not what the filmmakers of this movie did. Okay, what's his name? John M. Chu, the director of this movie. Okay, he also directed the last one, The Last Wicked, as well. Okay, that's not what they did. Okay, this story was adapted from the Broadway play, and the Broadway play was written by Stephen Schwartz. I went over all this when I reviewed Wicked 1. All right, yes, he's gay. Everyone's gay. Okay, everyone involved in making this movie is fucking gay. All right, so that's you just got to accept that. It's a given. Okay. I know that's Hollywood as well, but this especially, okay? This has its fan base, okay? Its fan base is old women and gay guys, all right? And that's what this is. That's what Wicked is. That's what it's always been, okay? They're not even trying to pretend that there's any heterosexuality involved in this, okay? Any heterosexuality you see on the screen is their imitation of what they think heterosexuality is. There is no heterosexuality anywhere in this movie, just so you know, okay? Even the straight characters are gay in this thing, all right? Sorry. So so the Wicked musical, which is based off of this book, okay, what they had to take a lot of things out in order for this story to make sense. They're telling the story about this nice woman who gets mislabeled as the Wicked Witch of the West. Okay, she's born like deformed. She's born with green skin. Her father hates her, or at least the guy that she thinks is her father hates her. Okay, she's a social outcast, but she's got powers. It's never explained how she has powers. Okay, it makes no sense at all. Okay, apparently the unofficial explanation is that she's from two worlds. She's half Munchkin and half human, because the wizard, guess what, is her dad. Okay, and he's from Omaha, Nebraska. Okay, so but the wizard has no powers. He's a regular human being, and the Munchkins have no powers either. So by that logic, Elphaba should have no powers either. Okay, so that makes no sense. The mom was drinking a green liquid in this movie. Okay, which I guess is like Rohypnol or something. Okay, right? I guess he slipped her a Mickey, but it doesn't really look like it. I mean, she was more than ready to drop trout for the wizard, okay, before she even sipped that drink, okay? So it had nothing to do with it. She was just a slut. Okay, that's in the book too. She cheated on her husband, Frexbar, all the time. It wasn't just with him, with the wizard, it was with other guys too. In fact, her daughter, Nyssa Rose, is also fathered by another man. It's not her husband, okay? So they're both bastards. But of course, the governor of Munchkinland, Frexbar Throp, he does not know this. Okay, so he raises both of them. He hates Elphaba because she's born green skin. Okay, and that's displayed in the movie. But he absolutely adores Nyssa Rose. Okay, now they decided to make Elphaba and Nyssa Rose half black, so the mom is black, but the dad is white. Okay, so by that rationale, Elphaba is half Jewish and half black Munchkin. So maybe she does have powers. Okay, in the book, Nyssa Rose, her dad was some other guy. I forgot his name. I have to look it up again. I don't want to look it up again. But anyway, her mom was a slut. Okay, and she wasn't black either. Okay, in the book. All right, because that would make no sense. What were black people doing in Oz? Did you see any in the Wizard of Oz movie? Okay, all right. So, so it was somebody else. I forgot who it was. But in that case, with the case of Nyssa Rose, it did not bother Frexbar Throp, the governor of Munchkinland. It didn't bother him that his wife was sleeping with the other guy. Okay, he did not know about the wizard, but he did know about his wife sleeping with the other guy. Okay, I forgot his name. I have to look it up. Okay, he was like just a traveler. He was like passing through, and they let him stay at their place, and he fucked the wife. Okay, and that's Nyssa Rose's biological father. Okay, the reason Frexbar was okay with it was because he was fucking him too. I'm not making that up. Did I tell you the Broadway musical was gay? All right. Well, this is even gayer. All right. Yes. Elphaba's dad, okay, liked to take it up the ass. Yes, he did. Okay. No wonder he couldn't satisfy his wife. No wonder she had to go outside of the marriage. So the reason it's not in the movie, but in the book, the reason that Frexbar loves Nyssa and hates Elphaba is because he knows Elphaba is not his daughter. Okay, and she's green, she's ugly. All right. But he does know that his lover and his wife's lover are the parents of Nyssa Rose, and since he loves both of them, of course he loves Nyssa Rose. You get it? Because he might be married to one, but he likes to get fucked by the other. All right, so that's why he fawned over Nyssa Rose but hated Elphaba. That's in the book. In the movie, not so much. In the movie, he thinks that Nyssa Rose is his biological daughter, despite the fact that she was born crippled. Okay, he still loves Nyssa Rose to death. Okay, and of course his wife did not tell him. Okay, he also thinks that he's the biological father of Elphaba. Okay, because like I said, his wife hid the fact that she was a slut. All right, but because Elphaba was born with green skin, he can't deal with that. Okay, that's why he ostracized her in the movie. Okay, because his daughter's green skin. All right, so all that's going on here. Okay, that was in the book, and that's in the movie here. Okay, so. She's raised that way, okay, with a father who didn't love her. She doesn't know any other father, but she believes in the wizard, blah, blah, blah. She accidentally goes to school, okay, and I forgot what it's called. I did all this in the last, watch my older reviews, okay, of The Wicked, okay, to get the backstory and all that, all right? But the point is that they took away a lot of stuff from the Wizard of Oz movie, the 1939 movie, in order for this story to make sense, okay? Because in this movie, now you've got actually Dorothy has arrived now. Okay, so now you've got the official adversary of Elphaba just arrived. Okay, and they kind of sidelined her because we know Dorothy's story already. We know about her, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, the Lion. We know that whole story already. Okay, so they've got to make this story, this half, part 2, needs to make sense with The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, the movie. Okay, it needs to make sense with the movie, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. And so because in the movie, clearly the Wicked Witch of the West is evil. She throws fireballs at Dorothy, at the Scarecrow. She threatens to kill Dorothy's dog. She threatens to kill Dorothy. She tortures Dorothy psychologically, okay? But she threatens to torture her physically, okay? She poisons Dorothy. She does all these things, okay, to Dorothy, okay? Which Elphaba, the character that Cynthia Erivo's playing in the movie, would never do these things. Even if people she don't like, she doesn't threaten to kill them. Okay, so that was like, well, how do you get around that? I can understand Elphaba being mad at Dorothy for killing her sister. Okay, I get that, so I can understand why Elphaba would be mad at Dorothy, and she is mad at Dorothy, but she doesn't hate Dorothy. She doesn't want to kill Dorothy and get the slippers. You see what I mean? Which is what the original movie did. But in this, they can't do that because that would make Elphaba look evil. So they got to work around it, okay? They got to make it, well, she's mad at Dorothy, but she ain't going to kill Dorothy. She would never do that. Elphaba, the character of Elphaba in this movie would never throw a fireball at Dorothy. Would never put a little girl in danger, okay? Would never threaten to kill her dog. Would never purposely set the Scarecrow on fire, okay? Because according to this movie, the Scarecrow, that's the love of her life. That's Prince Fiero, okay? So she's in love with the Scarecrow, okay? And so that would never happen. So what the movie does, it just cuts out all that stuff. Oh, it never happened. That never happened, and we don't see it. Okay. Remember in the original Wizard of Oz movie, remember how at the castle, the Wicked Witch of the West, she had those guards, those Cossacks. Okay, they had those British royal guard fur helmets on, but yet they were dressed like Cossacks from Russia, but they had green skin and they looked like the Wicked Witch of the West. Remember that? Okay, those are written out. There's none of that. Okay, it didn't exist. It never existed. So that right there is a continuity error. Okay. Also, what do you call it? In this movie, when Dorothy finally confronts the Wicked Witch of the West at the end, okay, in the book, okay, in the book, the only one that was there was the lion. Okay, the lion was there. Okay, but in the movie, clearly, I mean, the Scarecrow, the Lion, the Tin Man, they were all there when Dorothy threw the water, okay, onto the Wicked Witch of the West. Okay, so she wasn't by herself. Her guards were there. Okay, her monkeys were there. They were all there. A lot of witnesses to this. But here, the only one who saw the Elphaba melt is Dorothy, and we don't see her face. Okay, and then Glinda was peeking through a little crack in a door. Okay, so Glinda saw this as well. But even that would make no sense because, what the hell? Then, according to the movie, the Scarecrow, the Lion, and the Tin Man they wore disguises, and they snuck into the castle to rescue Dorothy. Okay, So why was it that they weren't there? They should have been there. Okay, they just ignored that whole aspect of the movie. You see what I mean? It's little continuity errors like this that bother me about this movie. So it's one of the reasons this movie isn't as good as the last movie, because the last movie is all the stuff that happens before Dorothy arrives. So you got a lot more room to play with here. There's a lot more character building that you can do. Okay, but now this movie takes place at the same time as another movie we already know. Okay, so things need to match up, and they don't. And the movie ignores that because it's based off the Broadway play. The Broadway play ignores that stuff too. You see what I mean? Like you've got the Tin Man is angry. He wants revenge on Elphaba for turning him into a Tin Man. I mean, he's just full of hate, you know. And the Tin Man was not like that at all in the original movie. Okay, now according to this continuity slip, that means that the Scarecrow was smart the whole time. He was only pretending to be dumb because he was in cahoots with Elphaba. He wanted Dorothy to kill her so that he could sneak her out of Oz later on, and they could go off into the sunset together. You see what I mean? He was complicit in Dorothy being captured. That means that he would have been faking being dumb. Okay, which that throws away his character arc. Also, the wizard would have recognized the Scarecrow. What the hell? This guy is wearing the same uniform as the captain of my Royal Guard. Okay? Of my Gale Force Guard. What the hell? Oh my God, it's Prince Fiero. He's looking like a Scarecrow now. You see what I mean? That should have set them off right there. But the movie like contradicts itself. Okay, it didn't. It's erasing the stuff that we know happened in the original 1939 movie, and it's hoping that you don't notice, so that their story can make sense. You see what I mean? And that bothers me. That bothers me a lot. Okay, because if you want to convince me that the Wicked Witch of the West that I saw when I was a little boy watching that old movie on TV, if you want to convince me that that woman was actually misunderstood and that she was really a good person, okay, she just had some really bad propaganda against her, okay, if you wanted to convince me of that, then you should have explained her behavior in this movie. You see what I mean? It would have been more realistic if the Wicked story had been more like Elphaba, because in the book, she's good the whole time. She never turns evil, okay? But if they had made her as like, okay, I started off as good, but I became evil. And by the end, she realized, oh my God, what have I done? I've turned into everything that, you know, I was against in the beginning, you know? And then that would have explained, you know, her, it would have been like the Darth Vader, like Anakin Skywalker, you know? That would have explained it, okay? Like, oh, like Breaking Bad, he starts off as good. By the end, he's a fucking psychopath, okay? That's what it should have happened to her. Because you could have seen her fall that way. But they didn't want to do that. They wanted her to be sympathetic the entire time. Okay? And so they had to make up stuff. Okay? And they had to do stuff that was not, that's not in continuity. Breaks continuity. Okay? So it's hard for me to take this seriously because it's supposed to take place in the 1939 Wizard of Oz movie. But there's so much stuff that doesn't happen that you can't explain it. Okay? Why was the Tin Man standing there unable to move? Okay? When he was clearly on a hunt for Elphaba. I mean, he raised up a whole army of people, okay? We're going to go kill her and I'm going to enjoy it. Okay, you see what I mean? How was it the Scarecrow, okay, who didn't know how he ended up a Scarecrow because he was too dumb, but the truth is he put himself there on purpose in order to guide Dorothy into going to the wizard. You see what I mean? He sent her there on purpose, knowing damn well that the wizard was fake. That the wizard had no powers. You see what I mean? That's a break of continuity. That's the kind of stuff that pisses me off because that's not explained. You see? All right. So that's my biggest problem. Okay, let's start talking about this movie here. First, this is my info here. Okay. Diego knows and knows Diego. And Diego de la Vega knows. Okay, Diego knows that right there. That's my ex. And this, Diego de la Vega knows, that is my Rumble. Okay? My ex and my Rumble. Okay, because I do post these videos on there as well. Because you know how Google is. You know how YouTube is. You know. They're gonna censor me, you know. If you didn't vote for Biden, they don't want you on here. That's about to change. Okay. Wicked for Good, 2025. This movie was released by Universal Pictures, which has a long history. Now, Universal Pictures did exist in 1939, but they were making monster movies back then. They were making Dracula, Frankenstein. In 1941, they made The Wolfman. Before that, they made Bride of Frankenstein, Daughter of Dracula. They made The Phantom of the Opera, the one with Lon Chaney Sr., and then his son Lon Chaney Jr. was The Wolfman. Okay, The Mummy with Boris Karloff, all that stuff. That's what Universal was doing. But now they have the rights to Wicked. Okay, so they're releasing this thing. It's not Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers had the original rights. Okay, I mean, they still own the rights to the movie. Okay, to the original 1939 movie. Okay, and apparently Universal and Warner Brothers had to have a sort of a settlement agreement. Okay, a mediation, so they could get permission. What can we use in the movie, and what will get us sued if we use? Okay, for example, the ruby slippers. Okay, the reason the ruby slippers are silver in this movie is because the ruby slippers, okay, in the book were silver. Okay, Warner Brothers decided when they made the 1939 movie, they knew that the movie was going to be in color, which was an expensive special effect. Okay, so they wanted the slippers to really stand out, and that's why they made them a glowing ruby. Okay, well, they weren't allowed to use that in this movie. That's why the slippers are silver. Okay, so things like that. It's Universal made this movie. Okay, the director of this movie is John M. Chu. He's Asian guy, same guy that did the last one. He also did Crazy Rich Asians. That was in 2018. That was with Michelle Yeoh as well. Step Up 2 and 3, respectively, 2008 and 2010. I did see those movies because I used to be a professional dancer. Yeah. Just don't ask me what kind. All right. And yes, there's a movie about me too. All right. He also did G.I. Joe Retaliation. That's the sequel to the G.I. Joe movie with Channing Tatum. And they forced Channing Tatum to come back for G.I. Joe Retaliation because his contract demanded that he come back for the sequel. He did not want to do it because the first G.I. Joe movie was such a piece of crap. And it was. I enjoyed it, but it was crap. It was crap. They made G.I. Joe because that's Hasbro, and they had a huge success with the Transformers. Remember that? 2007? Michael Bay? Okay, well, Hasbro said, oh my God, we own G.I. Joe too. Let's make G.I. Joe movies too. That's going to be just as successful as Transformers, and we'll put Duke as the leader. We'll put Duke we'll put Channing Tatum to play Duke the leader. And, the movie, it sucked. It sucked ass, all right? But yes, he directed the sequel. They decided to in the sequel, they forced Channing Tatum to come back in the sequel, but he gets killed off, which is what he wanted. He said, I'll come back, but only if you kill off my character like in the first act, because I don't want to do any more of these. So they did. They killed off Duke, and then Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, takes over as leader, and and he's Roadblock. All right, I know my G.I. Joe. All right, Cobra Commander and all that crap. All right, it's G.I. Joe. Okay, so the sequel, the shitty sequel. Okay, yes, he did that. He's responsible for that one. John M. Chu. He also did Gem and the Holograms, that god-awful movie from 2015. I think that movie made like $15 million, which in 2015, that was a huge disaster. Okay, but today, that's typical for a movie that goes to Hollywood today. It makes $15 million. Yep. We only spent $100 million on it. Yeah, that's about right. Because today, that's like, oh yeah. There's lots of movies that do that. That lose a shitload of money. But in 2015, it wasn't as common. Okay, and Gem and the Holograms was one of those movies. It was based on a cartoon, also by Hasbro. A line of dolls. They're trying to compete with Barbie, so they had these girls in a pop band. I saw the cartoon. Yes, I saw the cartoon in the 80s. I watched a few episodes. It was on with, it came on with Robotics and with Dino Riders. Or was that RoboCop? I don't fucking remember. I think it was Robotics and Dino Riders and RoboCop and Gem and the Holograms. I might be wrong, okay? Or it was Inhumanoids and Gem and the Holograms. Oh yes, I know this shit, right? Yes, whatever. Okay, who cares? All right, the movie sucked. Okay, but the 80s cartoon, I guess, was okay. I bought every single episode. No, not because I'm gay, because I'm not gay, but I have sisters. I have triplet sisters that are a lot younger than me. They're like a good 22 years younger than me, because that's how old I was when they were born. Okay, mom had lots of kids. All right, and I was showing them stuff. that, you know, from my era, okay? And they liked it. They liked Gem and the Holograms, the cartoon. They liked it. Even though it had been dead for a long time. They decided to reboot in 2015. The movie fucking sucked ass, really bad. Of course, I did not watch it, but I do know that Juliette Lewis was in it. That's all I really know, okay? And yes, John M. Chu is responsible for that abortion as well. Okay, and also some other abortions that he performed was In the Heights in 2021. Remember that? I did not watch that, but I know the guy that did the music or something was Lin-Manuel Miranda. That's the guy that Disney hires whenever they want Latino representation. They just hire him. Doesn't matter if he's good or not. They just hire him because he's Latino, and he's responsible for Hamilton. That play where all the white founders of the United States are all played by black people. Yeah, he's responsible for that too. And John Chu directed In the Heights in 2021. He got a lot of backlash from the libtards because they told him that, hey, you got all these Hispanic people here, but you don't have any black Hispanic people here. You're racist. And you would think that, you know, a movie all about a bunch of Hispanics, you know, dancing in South Miami, you know, Cubans and Puerto Ricans and stuff, you know, you would think that he'd be like, well, I mean, it is diverse. It's all Latinos from Cuba and Puerto Rico, whatever, you know. But no, that's not what Lin-Manuel Miranda said. When he said, he's like, you're absolutely right. I need to be re-educated. I need to better myself. I apologize for all the discrimination that I have caused. And he like get this big fucking like hostage apology for not having any black Latinos in his fucking movie. All right, that's the kind of people that make this movie. Okay, that's what John M. Chu is responsible for. And also, he did a bunch of fucking Justin Bieber movies. I'm not making that up. You know those stupid ass concert movies. You know, like Taylor Swift does those every 2 years. She does a concert movie. Okay, and the fucking theater is nothing but fucking old and young white girls or white women. Okay, yes. Okay, they did that for Justin Bieber too. All right, he directed those movies. Those reality movies. Who gives a crap? But yeah, but he didn't put the part where P. Diddy was fucking him in the ass though. That they left that out of those movies. All right, but yeah. So that, and Usher was doing that too. Okay, so yes, that's what happened here. Okay, now who wrote this piece of this movie? It's not that bad. Okay, it's not great, but it's not that bad. Who wrote this movie? It was written by Winnie Holzman and Dana Fox. These are women that have very little on their resume. I've tried to look it up. I think one of them did a TV show, and the other one has done nothing else except this. So they're not really well known. I'm pretty sure they just adapted the musical that was written by Steven Schwartz, okay? Because that's all they really had to do, okay? Now, this movie's different from the musical in the sense that part one was the first act of the musical, which was like an hour and a half, because I've seen it on YouTube, okay? So part one from last year was they had to adapt an hour and a half, and they stretched it out into 2 hours, okay? Part two, which is this movie, the second act of the musical, is only 45 minutes. So they had to stretch a 45-minute act into 2 hours. So of course they had to add a lot of things. They had to add songs. They had to add. There's a lot of fucking, you know, Elphaba and Glinda just singing about their feelings for like 5 or 10 minutes, you know, to each other or it's solo, you know, or staring at themselves in their reflection while they're singing. A lot of that, okay, which just dragged out the movie. Okay. The important things, the parts that we want to see. We wanted to see Dorothy interact with these characters. We wanted to see Dorothy interact with her friends. Yes, I know we've already seen that in another movie, okay? But we wanted to see it here as well, so we can get a sense of what's going on. Okay, so this scene's taking place during what scene in the original movie? Okay, that scene. Okay, because here's the part where that happens. Okay, here's the part where Dorothy gets knocked out by those poppy seeds that Elphaba used to knock out her classroom, okay, in the first one. Okay, here's that scene. So now I got a sense of what's going on here. Okay, so they're about to get to Oz. Now I know where they are. Okay, things like that. You see? You know, and of course the Scarecrow's unaffected because he doesn't breathe. Well, guess what? Guess who was unaffected by those poppy seeds in the first movie? Okay, in Wicked Part 1. It was Prince Fiero. So that right there is kind of a telltale sign of, yeah, Prince Fiero is the Scarecrow. Okay, don't pay attention to the fact that he's wearing the exact same clothes, the uniform of the captain of the Gale Force Guard. Okay, don't pay attention to that. Just pay attention to the clues. Prince Fiero did not get knocked out by those poppy seeds in the first Wicked movie. Okay, so of course the Scarecrow would not get knocked out by those poppy seeds. Okay, you see what I mean? You gotta like catch those parallels there. Okay, don't forget Prince Fiero thought he was dumb. He even did a whole song and dance about it in the library in the first movie about how he's dumb. He doesn't really study. He doesn't like studying. He cares more about like dating chicks and stuff like that than he does and partying than he does about studying. Remember? Okay, that right there was a clue that he is going to be the Scarecrow. All right. So that's going on. Okay, yeah. So of course Ariana Grande plays Glinda in this movie. Okay, Glinda the Good. Okay, well she's not really that good. She's actually very, very shallow, but she's not an evil person, but she's very shallow. Okay, good characterization by her. She can sing, not as well as Cynthia Erivo, but she can sing. Okay, Glinda. By the way, Ariana Grande met her co-star in this movie is a guy named Ethan Slater. Okay, and Ethan Slater plays the character of Bach, who's like this ugly, nerdy guy. Okay, who's in love with Glinda. Well, guess what? In real life, they are a couple. Okay, Ariana Grande left her husband to be with this guy, Ethan Slater, this ugly, short, ugly motherfucker. Okay, and Ethan Slater also left his pregnant wife to be with Ariana Grande as well. Okay, so there really was something that happened on the set of making this movie. Okay, yes. So yes, Ariana Grande blew up her marriage during this, all right? But then again, she dated Pete Davidson, so what the fuck, dude? I got no respect for her at all, all right? And she's been overdosing on Ozempic, okay? She looks like crap. Ariana Grande looks like crap. She got a semi-decent face. She's got no body, no tits, no ass, no legs, no nothing, okay? And she's supposed to be the pretty one. Get the fuck out of here. All right, then you've got butt ugly Cynthia Erivo, who just looks like, you know, I just want to like send her like 55 cents a day, you know, less than the price of a cup of coffee. You know, that's what she looks like to me, right? But apparently she is a he because she uses male pronouns. Okay, recently she's been playing Jesus Christ Superstar on Broadway. Yes, they hired this bald black thing with a bull ring in her nose and 8-inch nails to play Jesus fucking Christ in Jesus Christ Superstar. I am not making that up. Oh, she's also on the cover of GQ magazine as Man of the Year. I'm not making that up either, okay? That should tell you a little bit about fucking Hollywood and Broadway. They're all connected. They're all a bunch of libtard weirdos, yet they're the ones that want to preach to you about morality. Get the fuck out of here. All right, that's Cynthia Erivo. She plays Elphaba, okay, the main character. She actually does a really good job. She's not playing the Wicked Witch of the West at all. She's playing a totally different character, okay? Who I did feel sorry for. She nailed it in the acting and the singing. She did a really good job. Prince Fiero is back, okay, played by Jonathan Bailey, who is very homosexual. He's married to a dude, okay? He's 37 years old, or 38 years old now, and he's playing a 21-year-old. Well, now, like a 26-year-old, okay? So, you know, and he's gay as fuck. Just like the guy, you remember the Snow White movie that came out earlier? I did not review it. I don't want to review it, but I did watch it. I didn't pay to watch it, but I watched it. Okay, the one with Rachel Zegler. Okay, and Gal Gadot. Okay, well, I found out that Prince Charming in that movie, okay, when he filmed that movie, he started off as straight, and by the end of filming, he came out of the closet and said he was gay. Okay? Well, guess what? Jonathan Bailey came right into this thing being gay. That's why he was hired. He was hired because he probably fucked Steven Schwartz, okay, or John M. Chu, or many of the other gay producers of this shit, okay? Yes, Jonathan Bailey is 100% fucking queer, okay? And he's playing the love interest here, all right? He's playing Prince Fiero. So there's that. He's back. Nyssa Rose is back, played by Marissa Bodie, who is a triple threat. And what do I mean by that? Marissa Bodie's a triple threat because not only is she crippled in real life, and she's in a wheelchair in real life, not only is she half white and half black, not only is she a woman, but guess what? Drum roll. She's fucking lesbian too! Ah! Sorry, that's a quadruple threat. That's a grand slam. What am I saying? That's a home run. Yeah, so that's why she got hired. Yeah, she doesn't sing or any of that shit. She's just, you know, she's all the check marks. You see what I mean? To prove they're not racist. That's why. Okay, that's why they got a black woman to play the Wicked Witch of the West, who's originated by Margaret Hamilton, who's white. Okay, yeah, that's not racism though, is it? No, of course not. Of course not. It's okay if you're gay and you're racist. That's okay. If you're straight and you're racist, that's not okay. You know, if you're white and you're racist, it's not okay. But if you're any other color, you can be racist against white people. It's okay. But white people cannot be racist against anyone. That's the rule in Hollywood. All right. All right. Who else we got here? The Wizard, of course, played by Jeff Goldblum, the Jewish wizard. Yes, well, actually, you see how we're doing this over here. But Well, I just happen to play it. Like that, Jeff Goldblum, that guy, the stuttering motherfucker who's like 6'5". He's the Fly to me. To me, he's the Fly. He'll always be the Fly from like 1987. Okay, yes, he was also the nightclub owner in Thank God It's Friday, which I love that movie. I watch it every year. The disco movie, which came out unfortunately right when disco died. But it's a funny movie. It's a comedy. It's like a funny Love Boat episode of Saturday Night Fever. That's what it is. Okay, Thank God It's Friday. Donna Summer was in it, and she sang Last Dance. Last Dance. Yes, great movie. You need to watch it. It's on Amazon Prime. It's called Thank God It's Friday. Wonderful movie. Okay, the chick that sings "Take My Breath Away" from Top Gun. Okay, the lead singer Berlin. She's in the movie as an actress. She doesn't sing, but she's an actress in the movie. All right, watch it. Very good. And yes, that is Academy Award winner Deborah Winger in that movie as well. All right. Before she did Officer and Gentleman, which I already reviewed. All right. By the way, she was fucking the director in that movie. Did you know that? Yeah, no wonder. Okay, so moving right along. Yes, Jeff Goldblum plays Oscar Zoroaster Diggs, the Wizard of Oz. Okay, who's evil in this. But he thinks he's a good guy. Bach, that's the guy I told you about, Bach. He's the beta male, nerdy guy, okay, that's in love with Glinda, but of course she does not like him because he's too fucking ugly and too short, okay? So he ends up getting the consolation girl, which is Nyssa Rose, but he doesn't love Nyssa Rose because she's a cripple. He can't fuck her. He's horny. He may be a munchkin, but he still has needs. Anyway, so yeah, Bach is there, played by Ethan Slater, who I told you in real life left his wife and his baby to be with Ariana Grande. Okay, Madame Morrible is here. Okay, played by Michelle Yeoh. You know, that's the Asian woman everybody gets. Whenever you need an old Asian lady, you automatically get Michelle Yeoh. There is no other actresses in Hollywood. Okay, when you need an older middle-aged Asian woman, you automatically get Michelle. There's like a clause in her contract that every single big budget studio must hire her whenever you need an old Asian woman. You get Michelle Yeoh, and because there's no other old Asian women actresses in Hollywood, so you automatically get Michelle Yeoh, and she does not need the money because she's married to like a billionaire. So what the hell does she care? All right, she's Madame Morrible. She's back as the evil Madame Morrible. All right, you got Bowen Yang. You remember that fucking gay guy? He's from Saturday Night Live. He plays the gay guy Fanny. Yes, that's his name, Fanny. He's the Asian gay guy that went to school at Shiz. Okay, that has the hots for Fierro. Okay, and his assistant to Glinda. Yeah, he's back playing his gay self. And then Bronwyn James, that's the body positive big fat blonde girl. Okay, named Shen Shen. Okay, she's back too. All right, the book, like I said, this book is by Gregory Maguire, who, by the way, I did a little bit of research on him. Apparently, his mother died giving birth to him, and his father disowned him or something like that. So this guy, he had a lot of experience to write about when he wrote about Elpha being abandoned and feeling like her dad didn't love her and all that kind of shit. Yes, didn't know who her real father, all that kind of shit. Yes, okay. He was raised by his like relatives or something. He was raised to be Christian, a Catholic, but of course he's gay, and that's the number one reason that liberals hate Christianity is because it does say in the Bible that homosexuality is a sin. Okay, and so that's one of the main reasons that libtards hate Christianity. Okay, it doesn't say anywhere in the Bible that you should persecute gay people. It does not say that at all. Okay, but because it says it's a sin, that's the reason libtards hate Christianity. That's why they always put down Christianity. That's why whenever you see a movie about Catholics, they're always molesting little kids. You know, they're never doing anything positive, that kind of thing. And of course, he was raised Catholic. Gregory Maguire was. Okay, and so of course he turned away from the church because he was gay. So, of course, that's why. All right? Okay, being an outcast, okay? Or he felt like one, all right? But where does he fit in? Hollywood and Broadway, of course. You know? All right, so there's that. This is based on a musical by Stephen Schwartz. I told you, that guy spent most of his life straight, and then he came out of the closet and became gay. I guess he was gay the whole time. Even though he was married to a woman and had children, he was gay. He was fucking guys the whole time. He finally came out, another Jewish gay guy, and you know, in Broadway, a big deal. Like there's like a dozen of them, more than that. There's thousands of them. All right. Stephen Schwartz also did Godspell in 1971. That's with the other gay guy. What's his name? Why can't I think of him right now? Okay, you know him. He was in Titanic. He was in Alias. He was actually played the lead. He played Jesus in Godspell, the play that the Stephen Schwartz wrote. Okay, I can't remember his name, but you remember him. He was Victor Victor Garber. Victor Garber. Yes, there's another openly homosexual guy. Yes, he was the star of the movie Godspell. And guess what? Stephen Schwartz wrote that. Okay, he wrote Godspell. Okay, it's like it's like a Jesus Christ Superstar version of Jesus during Vietnam, and everyone's gay and singing day by day, day by day. Oh, sweet Lord, these things I pray. Yeah, Victor Garber, he had like a big white afro. He had the Mork and Mindy suspenders, and he had a Superman T-shirt on, and he was Jesus. Yeah. Hey, if Cynthia Erivo can do it, right? Okay. So yeah, he also wrote Prince of Egypt, and that was in 2017. Okay. All right. So that's the breakdown of Wicked. Okay. In my next video, we're actually going to go into the story and start talking about what happens. Okay. I thank you very much for watching this long, and I will see you soon on the next one. Bye.